The AFN will elect a national chief on Wednesday, July 25th. It's a decision that affects more than 900,000 First Nations people in 635 communities across Canada. The AFN is not a government, but it is the largest First Nations advocacy organization in the country. It promotes First Nations rights and interests. In order to win, the national chief must secure 60% of the votes from the AFN chiefs or their proxies. The current national chief is Perry Bellegarde. He's running for a second three-year term. He says his work has helped secure a $17 billion pledge from the federal government over 7 years for First Nations priorities. However, he's faced criticism for being too close to the current Trudeau government.
There is movement, but there's still more work to do. And so again, as AFN, we advocate for policy and legislative change, but more importantly, we influence that federal budget every fiscal year.
Other candidates are proposing a different way of doing things.
In terms of $17 billion in new money, it's really a drop in the bucket for what's needed.
And the direction that our community wants to go is to take back full control of our lives, everything from child welfare to education to the justice system.
We need to close the social gaps. We need to close the gaps between the standard of living in many areas between our people and the rest of the people of Canada.
This year's election issues include the government's purchase of the Trans Mountain Pipeline, the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, healthcare, education, language revitalization, and implementing UNDRIP. The Trudeau government's proposed Indigenous rights framework has become a lightning rod for debate in the lead up to this year's AFN election.
We are finally fully embracing and giving life to the existing Section 35 of the Constitution.
It's a change that could reform the Indian Act and would include new ways to recognize and implement Indigenous rights. The successful national chief will be facing a pivotal moment in the relationship between First Nations and Canada. The battle over the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion is set to escalate as shovels hit the ground. And with the expected tabling of rights legislation in the fall, the issues facing the AFN are set to shape the relationship for generations to come.